Good afternoon, this is Sheila from mycardstockcreations.com, and today, as I promised, I'm going to show you how I put together this cover that I created for this little mini file folder journal. What you need obviously is cardstock, a piece of cardstock for the cover, some decorative pages, whatever you like, some glue, your corner punch if you want your corners rounded, let's see, a ruler for measuring, a cutting board, a scoreboard, and what else? At the moment, that's all I can think of that you would need, and when I guess as we go along I will tell you what else you need. So first, you're going to start off with a piece of cardstock that measures, let's see, six and a quarter. Let's see, just to make sure. I think it's 6 1/4 this way. Yes, 6 1/4, and counting the tab by 8 3/4. And then if you have a tab maker, let's see if I can reach mine. This is my tab maker, and all I did was put it in. I don't know if you can see here, there's these holes. I butted up my piece of paper right next to the first set of holes to your left, and then I punched, and then I turned it around, and on the opposite side there's these little wiggly corner lines, small, medium, large, and I used the medium one punched, and then obviously you put it in here and you cut off the excess here. If you don't have one of these, then you can just do a tab. You can add a tab, or you can make a tab on your own with just a ruler and measure, doing a little bit of measuring. Then once that is done, you're going to put this in your scoreboard, and the tab, I believe, let me get my scoreboard, let's see. I just want to make sure. Okay, you're going to put this in your scoreboard, and you are going to score it at 4. I think I have it wrong. Yes, okay. With the tab facing the left side of the board, you're going to lay it down, and you're going to score it at 4 5/8, which is, if you have one of these scoreboards, there's blue lines after the 4, 1 2 3. So the third blue line you're going to score, and then the fourth blue line you're going to score. So it's about an 1/8 for the spine, and then the other side measures, you don't really have to worry about those measurements actually, but so that's your cover. And I will have a list of the measurements down below, so don't worry about that if you can't follow along, if it's hard for you to follow along while you're watching this and writing everything down. I will have a list below. So now that your cover is cut, I inked all my edges. You don't have to ink your edges if you choose not to, but I like to because I like the grungy look. So I'm going to put that aside for now, and then for your pockets, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. Excuse me, no. 3 inches wide by 4 3/4 the long way. And then you're going to score a 1/2 inch on either side, and then you're going to do 2 of those. And while I'm at it, I'm going to trim off my corners. I haven't done a tutorial in a long time, but I've been having some health issues and hasn't been easy for me dealing with fatigue and other issues, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. Okay, so now those are your main pieces. So you can ink them, like I said. You can do a decorative edge if you choose to, whatever you like. So now, before you glue your pockets into the folder, you want to add your decorative pages first. So again, I have pieces. These actually came from loose stock at Hobby Lobby, these two decorative pages. So this is going to be for my outside cover, and this is going to be for the inside. So I'm going to add that. And where did that go now? You can use glue. You can use your score tape. Now I add my decorative pieces using score tape. Sometimes glue, but mostly score tape. So I'm going to turn that so I can kind of even it out where I want it. Oops. One thing with score tape, it's really not that forgiving, so if you lay it down too quick, you won't be able to pick it back up. Okay, so that's one side. Now I'm going to do the other. If you have a pattern that you have to make sure you put it on right, that it doesn't go down upside down, make sure you check, double check, triple check. Try saying that 100 times before you lay it down, because once it's down, it's down. Okay, so did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. Whew, thought I made a mistake. So now I'm going to do my inside. That's my inside. So now I'm going to add my pockets, and I know a lot of people like to use the score tape to lay down their pockets and other things, but I choose not to because I don't want any of my tags getting stuck when they go to pull things out of the pocket. So I always use glue when I attach my pockets, and some other things when I'm crafting my books. So lay that down. Do the same thing for the other side. I know it takes the glue a little longer to dry, but I'd rather wait a few minutes for the glue to dry than have my pages getting stuck, or things that I put inside the pockets getting stuck, especially if I'm giving something away or someone buys it. Alright, so those are down. So now I'm going to add my two decorative pieces, and for that I will go back to my score tape. Alright, so that's the basic book, how you put it together. Now for your pages, where are my pages? Here they are. Now I already cut down my pages and inked and did whatever I wanted. To add your pages, you will need, you can use any string that you like, but I've been using this wax covered string that you get for leather, and I get it at Michael's in the leather department, and I believe, excuse me, it's like $4.99 or something like that for 25 yards. I could be mistaken, it could be a little bit more, but I really like it. So now, in order to make the holes, I use either a little tool like this. This is actually a jewelry bead thing that you can clean up the beads, but I actually use it as my piercing tool. Or you can use your big bite if you like, but because of the spine being so narrow, I think it would be better if you use something like this so you don't tear. So what I do is kind of line up my pages, because I got different sizes of pages, and I think there's like 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, you can go a little less or a little couple pages more. It depends on how much ephemera you wish to attach to it, because I tend to go overboard, so I try to use less. So what I do, you can poke your holes separately if you'd like, or you can put it all together and then poke your holes. It depends on how comfortable you are with lining things up. So what I do is kind of get all my pages kind of lined up in the middle on both sides. I did not round my corners on my pages yet. I'll do that, probably do that after. And then once I do that, I will grab a couple of these little clips and put it on either side. That's not correct. Make sure it's where you want the papers, are where you want it to be. I guess that's okay. And then put the other ones on. I kind of like fold my book over, because that way it sort of goes right where you want it, you hope. So now it's kind of tight right there. I'm going to loosen that up for a minute. So I will eyeball sometimes where I want the holes, but you're going to go in about 1.5 inches on either side and punch your holes. Let me see. My fingers aren't working. Alright, that kind of holds. So I'm just going to eyeball it, but you can measure 1.5 inches in and then poke your holes through. And make sure your fingers are out of the way. Oh, that was pretty good. You kind of turn it around to make the hole. And just make sure your fingers aren't in the way. And that was a little off. Nobody's perfect. There we go. Okay. Alright. So then you take a piece of the string or whatever you like. You could use elastic cord. It really doesn't matter. I just like the wax because it tends to not tear the pages. So what I'm going to do is go from the inside, go into one hole, and then from the outside come back in. Did that go all the way? Alright, sometimes it's hard to get all the... Hey man, you being stubborn with me today. So what I'm going to do is go in from this side. I'm having trouble finding all the holes in my paper. There we go. So I'm just going to make the a little bit rounder so it's easier for me to put this through. There we go. Alright, so then you could take these clips off. And I try to line up either side. Doesn't really have to be that lined up. Then I just tie a knot sort of in the middle. And don't pull too tight because you don't want your pages to rip. So I'm just going to tie a regular knot. Just like that. And cut the excess off, and then your pages are in. You can see I did not cut all my corners. That's one step I didn't do, but what I'm going to try to do right now is just kind of round them off. Oops. The bigger pages anyway. Trouble here. Come on. So I'm just rounding off my corners the best I can, seeing I already attached them. I forgot to do that step, but alright. This doesn't look too bad. So now that's the basic book, and it's real simple, and now it's ready for decoration. And if you have any questions or comments about this tutorial, please leave them down below and I'll try to get to you and answer all your questions. And that's about it. It's a real quick video, not too hard, very simple. And if you decide to make one of these, please upload it and tag me in it, or come back in to my channel and give me a message and give me the link to your video, because I would really like to see it, and I'd like to see your creation. So that would be awesome. Alright, so thank you for watching, and like I said, any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll be, you know, looking at my emails or whatever, and I'll be happy to answer anything that you ask me. And have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.